Yes, sir. What's popping, good people? It's your boy, the boy Henry Heck, back at it again with another video. And today I will be talking about my experience with Valorant on the PS5. Yes, sir, Bob. I got into the beta this past weekend for the game, and I was, excited to check it out. And I put a little time into it. So I wanted to give some brief thoughts on the game. First and foremost, this is not a hero shooter. You see some people try to, make it comparable to a Overwatch and even make reference to Concord. I do not believe this game is in that same shooter sub-genre as those games. This is more of a tact shooter, like a Siege, Rainbow Six Siege, CS:GO, Warface. It's very tactical in how you have to approach each round, and in between each round you have a weapon buy period. Also like Rogue Company. If you play Rogue Company, it's like that, where at the start of the round you have a certain amount of currency, and that's where you buy your power-ups, your grenades, your pistols, your rifles, etc. And the better you do throughout the game, and as the rounds progress, you'll have more of this currency to spend and buy your equipment and your power-ups. It's more of a, like I said, it's just a more slow, tactical, strategic, team-based type of gameplay. Like a search and destroy. So if you play COD and you enjoy search and destroy, that's what you'll be doing. So it's not really a kind of run and gun type of, even if you do select a duelist, it's still not a run and gun type of game, because the time to kill is damn near instantaneous. Pretty much all weapons have the ability to knock you out in like a second, especially if this individual is good and hitting their shots. Pistols are super deadly. Snipers are super deadly. I've gotten kills with shotguns, but I won't say they're like super dangerous. You have that the range on them, so I wouldn't necessarily say that a shotgun is super viable, but of course it has a stopping power, as all shotguns do. But it's not your run and gun, we trying to rack up hella kills. Some people may have the skill set to do that, but don't come into this game thinking you about to run the lobby. Don't come into it, because you'll get killed so quick. As soon as you make a mistake, you out of there. Especially if you're coming up against a team that has some good team composition, has some good team synergy. You trying to lone wolf it and buy SMG and go crazy. You're not gonna go crazy. You're gonna go back into the spectator menu, and you will be watching the rest of that round play out. That's what you will be doing. You know what I mean? That's what you will be doing for the next however long the match takes to plays out. So a plus, well, not a plus, but some pluses for the game are the shooting does feel good. There are two different aiming ADS modes. You have like your regular, it kind of zoom in, but not really. It's just a more focused ADS, and then you have your main zoom in, where it brings the scope up. The first one is just kind of zoom in a little bit, like you get a little, you know what I mean? You get a little more action. You get probably like a 1x, a 2x zoom, something like that. And then when you go to your main scope, you'll get your more, I say maybe a 5. I'm not, this ain't really accurate. I'm just calling out stuff to the people who play shooters to kind of get an idea where you can kind of get, it's just more zoomed in. It's like a level 3 zoom, in comparison. But hipfire is super, you can get your stuff off with a hipfire. I've gotten numerous hipfire kills. So hip firing is super viable. I'm a fan of hip firing in games. In Destiny 2, I'm a huge fan of hip fire. They also, they actually have a perk that's available on some guns to where it's a benefit to hip fire. Like I have a pulse rifle, and it provides a certain bonus for hip firing. But so the shooting feels good, guns feel good. There's also an emphasis on team play, which I like a lot. You know, a lot of times you get objective based modes in these shooting games where people don't really play as a team. They kind of like to go at it alone and, you know, either become a detriment to the team or carry the team to a victory. You can't really do that in Valorant, because the chances of you coming across a team that's more cohesive, they can shut that down real quick. So it's an emphasis on team play, which I like, you know, because this is more of an objective based rather than like a free-for-all or TDM style of game. Another thing I like is you can't rely on your abilities for kills. This is one thing I'll bring up XDefiant, where you have the cleaner class. They have numerous offensive abilities to where, you know, they can lean on to get that kill. Excuse me. Where they can lean on to get that kill. You know, they have a kind of ability to where they can just run up on you, and there's a fire kind of AoE effect they can do that, you know, causes a ton of damage. A lot of times it just go ahead and get you out the door. They also have incendiary rounds where if you're in a gun duel with them and you go ahead and kill them first, they still have a high chance of killing you even after you've killed them because of the incendiary rounds doing tick damage. You know, so you can't really, in this game, you can't really do that, like rely on abilities to carry you through gunfights or get those kills or get those trades. You have to use them as tools. You know, there are blinding abilities, there are scouting abilities, there are abilities that can block off area, but if an enemy steps into them, they can cause tick damage. You know, and you could probably string those things together and get kills, but you won't be able to rely on them by themselves. You know, you have to use them to supplement your gunplay. And another thing I like is the cool characters. They got a lot of cool characters in this game, with a lot of personality. I played with it's a chick. She was a defensive style character, and she reminds me of a character I picked up on Wuthering Waves. That's why I chose her. But it's a very diverse cast, so I feel like, because when I play a game like this, I kind of want to pick a character where I align with the personality, or I pick a character where their abilities fit my play style in other shooting games, you know. So I feel like in this game, there's a lot of opportunity for people to really find and mesh with a character through their abilities or through their personality. And all the characters look fucking cool. You know, sometimes in these games you get some characters that don't look as cool, but you know, you just play them because of the abilities they have, and you don't really identify with the character. You don't really care about the character in itself. You just, well, these abilities are gonna benefit me as far as getting a ton of kills, so I'm gonna use it. All right, and now I'm gonna jump to some cons to the game. Excuse me, getting over a cold. It's extremely slow paced. There's not a sprint. If you want faster movement, you have to switch to your blade, your knife, and then your character moves faster. But other than, you know, that, some characters have like a movement ability, but it don't last like super long. And when you switch to your knife, you kind of put yourself at a disadvantage. You kind of got to switch to the knife, get to where you go, and then hurry up and switch back. But if you caught in between that, you kind of fucked, because you have to switch back to your gun, and by then you dead. You know what I mean? If you sprint around with the knife and somebody catch you cold, you might as well put your controller down, because you finna get ready to be spectating. That's your best bet. Put your controller down, because you watching for the rest of the round. Another thing is there's a high skill curve. You know, it's gonna take a while to get good at this game. You have to really put time into it, as you should any game. You know, as you should any game with PvP anyway. But I liken this to like Siege, because I haven't played CS:GO. I played Warface, but you're not finna pick up these types of game and just be good in a day, or be good in 2 days, or be good in 3 days. You gotta really put time and effort into learning the mechanics, learning the maps, learning the strategies, learning the best ways to use your abilities, when to use them. So, well, you know what? That's not really a con, to be honest with you. But it's a con if you just looking in to just pick up this game and playing and immediately having fun. And I say immediately having fun because losing in these types of games ain't fun. It becomes very discouraging. It makes you not want to play, you know, because it's like, I'm just gonna lose. And then too, with it being heavily reliant on team play, if you get a bad team, you are fucked. You are fucked. You understand what I'm saying? You just suffering for the rest of the match, which bleeds into my next con with the game. The matches are super long. So as I was saying, if you get a bad team, you stuck. You might be stuck in that unless you quit, which I don't condone quitting, but you know, so a lot of people just ain't gonna deal with it. If they got a bad team and they getting their ass whooped, they not about to sit in that match for no 30 minutes, no 35 minutes, no 40 minutes. They not about to do it. And it might be a bit of an exaggeration to how long the matches are, but they feel super long. They not short. Like a Call of Duty match might be 9-10 minutes. That's the PvP match might be 9-10 minutes. Ain't no 9-10 minutes over here. At best, you getting out the match in 25. You know what I mean? X5 matches. And if you playing escort, they could be longer, but they're not as long as a match on Valorant. So if you short on time, I don't suggest you jump into this. You know, you like your wife getting ready, y'all about to go out for a night on town. You got time to jump into a Call of Duty match. You got time to jump into an X5 match. You got time to jump into the Crucible, Destiny 2. You know, so this is a sit down. You here for a minute. You know what I mean? This is a session. Don't play this if you're not down to have a session, because that's what you about to be having. You know, this is your game for the night. You know what I'm saying? And another, you might not say it's a con. In a way, it's a con for me. If you make a mistake, again, you are sitting out for the round. Because the TTK is the time to kill is so quick. If you make a mistake, you out in 2-3 bullets. You know what I mean? So you don't really have time to spin around and outplay somebody, unless they just super bad at shoot. They're just a really bad shot. If they're a really bad shot, then you might can pull it off. But you know, 9 times out of 10, the people playing ain't bad. You know, people that play these types of games, unless it's early on, like I said, we got a beta. A lot of people who've not tried this out or trying it out, so you can probably get some maneuvers in on these type of persons. But for the most part, especially like a month, 2 months into release on console, you probably not gonna come across like people that bad to where you can turn a bad situation into a good situation. So early in the round, if you get caught slipping, you gotta sit out for the rest of the time, because it's a one life type of deal. Unless you play I think his name Phoenix, and that individual can resurrect himself. I think it's his ultimate. But if you don't got that, you still sitting around. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much my little quick rundown of, you know, Valorant. I put a few hours in, won some matches, lost some matches, got some kills, got killed. You know, by far I am not an expert on this game. I don't have hundreds of hours in on this game. I've not played it on PC. Even the sub-genre of tact shooters. I put a ton of time into Rogue Company. Super fun game. Awesome game. Love that game. Too bad it's not really being supported as it should have stayed being supported, or kept being supported. So that's probably the only tact shooter I put a ton of time in. But I just want to get my brief thoughts on it and speak to whether or not it'll be, one of the contenders of, not contenders, but one of the contenders for like a Marvel Rivals, which looks to be more on par with the Overwatch 2 or a Concord, which seems to be, from what we've seen, a lot more fast-paced and having emphasis on the movement, and seems to meld between your Overwatch style of play and perhaps a MOBA style of play, like a Paragon, as far as the first person and objective based style shooters. But I ain't gonna hold y'all for too much longer. Getting over a cold, so my words are a little mumbled, my nose a little stuffy, and I'm not as robust as I may present myself to be in other videos. But I will catch y'all in the next one.